Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Rahat Rao. Over the next 60 minutes, I'll be bringing you all the top stories that dominate the headlines. And the most important one is coming once again out of Canada. Now, this one is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive. As per intel sources, we have managed to learn that Rahat Rao, who had links with the Pakistan ISI, is now under the Royal Canadian Mounted Police scanner. Yesterday, the RCMP teams, in fact, visited Rao's office in Surrey, in Canada, and he was questioned by the police for almost 2 hours. These agents also questioned him about Hardeep Singh Nijjar, and they have not yet disclosed the reason of their visit publicly, but possibly this was related to Rao's knowledge about Nijjar's killing. Now, remember, this is one thing that we have been following from the word go. Earlier, we had intel sources that suggested how the Surrey police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police had a bit of, a slip-up when it was about the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, where the killing happened in British Columbia in the month of June. For about 20-25 minutes, there was no police involvement, there was no investigation that had started. This is what we have learnt, and this was a major slip-up by both the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the Surrey Police. There was a jurisdiction issue that they were busy sorting rather than pressing into investigation right away. And now we are learning that after the international furor and after how this issue has escalated, now the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has in fact started investigation against Rahat Rao. We are yet to hear from them as far as the statement is concerned, but this is what our sources are telling us. Let me take this across to my colleague Abhishek Jha, who's also with us on the broadcast. Abhishek, a belated reaction by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. We don't think we have that link through with Abhishek. We'll try and re-establish that connection. But like I was mentioning earlier, when that killing really surfaced from Surrey in the month of June, nothing really was done by both the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and also the Surrey Police. A bit of a slip up there, in fact a lot more, and now it is an international controversy with Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, really talking about Nijjar's killing and talking about a possible India involvement in it. My colleague Abhishek is back with us on the broadcast. Abhishek, now that we hear of an involvement of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, isn't this a belated reaction?
Well, we have seen, the reports, media reports in USA also, especially in Washington Post. There was a long investigative piece that details how the investigation since its beginning has been dissatisfactory, especially to the communities and the Sikh population in Canada. There are several number of witnesses, eyewitnesses, or people who were present on the ground when the killing had happened in the month of June. And apparently, there has not been much information that the RCMP had sought from them. There has not been many questionings from the people who were very much on the spot. Some of them, they claim that they saw two people with hoodies fleeing from the scene. They did try to stop them or have some sort of track them down, but there is a lot of dissatisfaction on that. There is a video footage also that now shows two vehicles and apparently 6 assailants involved in the entire operation that resulted in the killing of Nijjar. Initially, it has been told by the Canadian side, the official side, that 2 assailants were involved in the whole operation. So there is a lot of information or misinformation going on the overall probe that is being going on, and apparently now there is a huge allegation also coming from the Canadian side that Indian agencies' role was there. What kind of intelligence Canadian authorities have been able to gather on the killing, or what kind of ground investigation has happened, what kind of eyewitness accounts have been gathered, that is still something has not been told. No arrest in Nijjar's killing has been done by the RCMP or the local investigative authorities so far. It's been almost 5 months since the killing of Nijjar.
Okay, Abhishek, I'd request you to stay on with us. Now, first of all, let's break down the facts that we've received through our intel sources. over the killing, the alleged killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Remember, this happened in British Columbia in Canada in the month of June. It is only now that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is talking about it inside the Canadian Parliament, and also saying that from the Five Eyes intelligence they have learned, especially through US contextual offering, they have learned that there is some sort of an Indian involvement in this. There was tapping of phones of Indian diplomats in Canada. But what we are learning on the other side of all this, what exactly is the Pakistan ISI involvement, is something that we'd also want to break down before our viewers. Now remember, there are two people here, Rahat Rao and also Tariq Kiani. These are the two ISI plants who were operating out of Canada. The other aspect that we are given to understand is that this was the maximum amount of work that was done in Canada for the ISI. Remember, when this controversy was spiraling out of control, Pakistan had also made a statement on how India and Indian agents have been operating in carrying out these trans-territorial killings. And that was a huge statement to make by Pakistan, a retaliatory statement. They had suddenly come into the picture, and now we are learning of an ISI involvement in this case. Now, this duo of Rahat Rao and Tariq, in fact, were handling the terrorists from India. This is also an important aspect that we are learning. The duo, in fact, handled terrorists from India. Later, what we are given to also understand is that all of this got together to talk about that possible involvement of Pakistan ISI. Rahat Rao and Tariq Kiani, in fact, were under the wanted list. That also is an important aspect to be looking at. This duo, in fact, is an ISI operative. Both of them are ISI operatives, and they, in fact, were functioning out of Indian soil and also had the entire backing of Pakistani ISI. Possible killing due to business reasons. It could be a business rivalry. That is also something that we are picking. Also, Nijjar was getting in a powerful time with them, and powerful with time, his entire clout was increasing in Canada, and also the kind of impact that he was having in India because of his secessionist tendencies. That was something that Indian authorities were already looking at. Remember, in 2018, there was a list that also had Nijjar's name that was given to the Canadian authorities for the extradition of these elements, these Khalistani secessionist elements, but nothing really was done about it. And even the ISI had issues about his growing status and rank when it was about the territory that he was operational for. When we talk about Rao and Kiani, this duo was wanted in the drug business, and they wanted the control of the drug business, and that was what the business rivalry really was about. And that's why they possibly planned the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, because he was taking in that share of the drug business that they wanted in on. Nijjar's proximity with Pakistan was an issue for the Pakistan ISI. This will, of course, put the Pakistan in the dock, and that was something that they were also looking at handling. And that's why the ISI handlers, Rao and Kiani, were in fact sent after Hardeep Singh Nijjar to carry out this trans-territorial killing. Let me take this across to Abhishek, who continues to be with us. Abhishek, we've just broken down these points for our viewers of what we have learned through the intel sources. The other important person to be looked at is Tariq. What about him? Now that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has already tried to question Rahat Rao, what about the second person?
There has been a well-established network or connect of ISI in all the transnational crime that is happening in Canada, especially anti-India campaign, Khalistani violent movement, threat and intimidation that were given by these Khalistani extremists to the Indian diplomats, attack on Indian communities, resurrection of Indian temples there. In a lot of the entire movement or entire organized setup of Khalistan and the drugs and organized crime, that is something that has been set up or supported by ISI elements in the past, and it has been established. Talking so there are visuals, there are footages that shows him training, and he had traveled to Pakistan also, where he was in touch with ISI officials, and he got training and some sort of funding also from the ISI that has been claimed by Indian agencies investigation as well. So all these people and the NIA's revelation about the number of people who are still operating on Canadian soil on the basis of ISI is alarming. Is something that the Canadian government should look into so far, even in the case of Niger, they have not been able to arrest a single person or claim as to how many persons were arrested and how many video footages they have been able to gather that could lead or that could give them some sort of trace to the killers or who all were the killers of Niger. So this is something on Canada to come clean on that. Also, talking about the intelligence sharing, will if they come out on the number of intelligence gathering or the kind of intelligence that they have gathered, they would also have to come clean on whether Indian diplomats were being scooped around, whether there was some monitoring of Indian diplomats' movement or their talks or their conversation being recorded by the Canadian authorities. So this is something that would further bring down the diplomatic relationship or the spat that we have been seeing into the more uglier form, if one could say.
Thank you so much for all of that information. We'll have to unfortunately leave it at that.